Hello YouTube, this is the Atlanta Puzzler here with part 7 on how to design and 3D print your puzzles using OnShape. And we're nearing the end of the series here. Last time we finalized the center, just not the center cap, and we still need to tension the pieces, and we need to create a core, and I'll comment on the core in a moment. But for the center cap really quick, Um, I'm going to go ahead and hide all the pieces here except the center cap, and I'm just going to focus on it and click sketch, and in the sketch plane and just choose the surface, and let's just do a center point rectangle, highlight till you're in the center and just draw a box, and let's go ahead and choose this and this and make sure they're equal, and let's go ahead and dimension it to be I think 15 is good. And let's do this fillet here. Let's click, let's make it 3 millimeters. Let's fillet this and this and this. Okay. And let's do the same process again. Draw a larger rectangle now. Press escape. Let's choose these two, make sure they're squared. And let's give it a dimension, this time 17. And the reason why I'm doing 17 because I want to have a thickness wall of 2 millimeters. Um, let's choose 4 here. I think for the corner is fine. And here, and here, and here. Okay. So this looks good. Let's go. Let's sketch center cap. Do okay. And next, as you can guess, I'm going to do extrude. And I'm going to choose this region between the two diagrams that I just drew. You see it's trying to extrude all this. Of course, we just want 2 millimeters maybe. I think that's good enough. Everything else is fine. I'm going to do OK. And here's the inside of your center cap. You just want to make sure when you measure it, the 2 millimeters that we measured is very close to the inside of our center, so it'll fit snug. I don't like to fillet or tension that part because when I do, it falls apart. So I typically just keep it as it is and I sand the edges and refine them afterwards. But it's up to you. I'll let you experiment with that. Okay, so one other thing I like to do, I have a hard time popping these caps out, and um, based on some, I think my Moyu cube or um, thunderclap, it has like a notch here in the side that makes it very easy to pop the cap. So I like to add that in. It's optional, you don't have to, it's a nice touch. But click sketch and choose this area here under the cap, and let's just draw a rectangle. Let's do corner to corner, and I'm just gonna draw a small rectangle here. Let's dimension it. I'll make this maybe 1.5 even, and let's make this, yeah, 6 is fine. And one thing I like to do is, this is the center axis. You can click on this icon, the symmetry icon, and I choose this axis and I want this line and this line symmetric, and now it lines it up perfectly. And say sketch center side, I don't know, and do OK. And click on the extrude piece and choose the surface you just drew. And now it's trying to extrude it in this direction. Make it remove, so now it's trying to extrude it in the opposite direction, but we want to make this perhaps 1 millimeter. Do okay. Let's see. Okay, perfect. Now we have a nice notch on the side that um, we can pop the cap out easily. Um, yeah, let's say extrude. Okay. All right. So as far as tensioning, to be honest, I don't typically touch the center or the caps. I'm gonna hide them. Now, tensioning is a whole topic that's kind of a big deal, and everybody has their own opinions, and it gets always oh, this is right, this is wrong, but it's really up to you. I'll tell you what I do, and sometimes it works, and sometimes I have to do other things. This surface here for the corner, the one I highlighted in orange, is typically what I file down or tension. I make it thinner so that it doesn't cause any friction with neighboring parts. Um, Maybe if you have strong springs or whatever, maybe you want to do the underneath, I guess, because the underneath of the center cap is contacting this edge. So if you tension this side of the edge and these, you don't need to do anything underneath. But typically I do these four, so 1, 2, 3, 4 for the center. So let's do that real quick. There is a icon here, move face. Face is to move. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to click on this. It's making them massive right now. I'm going to click on this and this, and instead of 5 millimeters, which is ridiculous, I think 0.6, as depending on how you're going to print it. Let's do 0.5. I think even some people do finer, but I just want to show you how it's going to do it. Sorry, you want to move face in the opposite direction, inwards, to make it thinner. So make sure you do that. So now these are slightly thinner, and let me open this dialog again and go back to the corner and hide the edge. And I'm going to choose this face here. And if you look closely, it's shrinking it by 0.2 millimeters. And I'd say that's it for tensioning. The only thing that's left is building a core, and to be honest with you, I mean, I make few cores and I just reuse them over and over instead of designing them. But it might be worth just buying a hardware set for a couple of dollars with a core, so you can get like a Guanlong core with screws or something. But nonetheless, I'll show you how to make the core real quick. Let's show the right plane. Let me zoom out. And let me hide this other plane real quick. I think it says create this one. Okay, so I'm going to go to the right plane here, and I'm just going to quickly type sketch, choose the right plane, zoom in, and you're just going to draw 2 center point circles. The first one, let's aim for, I'm going to do 8, and the other one I'm going to do 4, and I'll tell you why. So for this, make it 8, that's I think enough. And for the inner one, I'm going to make it 4 because this is basically the hole that my screw is going to go in. And we have a quick sketch here. So sketch core and do OK, and I'm sure you know this by now. Just do extrude, choose this surface, we don't want to do it blind, which basically is going to do it in one direction. We want to do it symmetric, and you want this to be 19 millimeters because that's the length of a cubelet. And there you go, we have a cylinder which represents one arm. We need two more of these, but before I make two more, I like to fillet it to avoid any friction, so just 0.5 millimeter. Choose this face and this face, do OK, fillet core, and I think this looks nicer. I like the effect that fillets make. Okay, now there's a transform icon here. Click on it, choose this part, and you don't want to translate. Translate means it's going to slide it. You want to do a rotate by 90 degrees, and it's going to demand an axis. And just click on the axis, and let's do it in this direction. You want to do copy part because you want to make two of them. Do OK. And now we have like this, and let's do it again. Transform, choose the first part, rotate by 90, and the axis will be, I think, sorry, I chose the wrong part. I'm going to choose this one, and I'm going to choose this axis. There we go. You're going to do copy, OK. And now we have a core semi-ready to use. Click on this icon Boolean and make sure it's on Union, and the tools, choose the three parts we just created. Create core. So now it fuses them together. Oh, interesting, it only did two parts. Okay. Okay, so here's the core, and you can 3D print it, manipulate it. You can buy one ready, but it's worth. I mean, it's worth learning how to make one. I'm gonna call the part core. Sorry, mine is I use ones from a Thunderclap, and they come in this color, I think, or maybe this. So we'll color it that way. And let me reveal all the parts. For these, let's make them, I don't know, this, similar to a cube. Okay, so there you go. These are the three pieces that you'll need to print a 3D 3x3 cube, all completed in its glory. Obviously, you need 6 centers and 6 center caps, and 8 corners and 12 edges, and one core if you want to 3D print that. And honestly, typically I do the core in a new tab. I just go to Part Studio and do it here, and I save it, and then I can just import it into any other design. In fact, I can go to my other, like some folder I have. Okay, so apparently it's okay, it's not here. There's a folder with reusable parts that I place everything in there, and so I save them so I can use them over and over. I don't like to create it every single time. Okay, this has been a lot. Hopefully you guys followed along and exercise using OnShape, and I'm sure by doing this exercise it won't be intimidating. I mean, it's really intuitive. It's a nice tool. So if you have any questions, any suggestions, any ideas for next projects, for MMake's a higher order puzzle, 7x7, but probably that needs to come much later. Maybe we can do an even layered cube. I don't know, something like this. Let me know, and I'll plan one and maybe write a script and do something. So okay, thank you for following along, and have a good night.